start with Money Talk, and today we've got a whole creative, dream big, people who dream big, make stuff happen, creative people, and we got somebody who's an entrepreneur himself here in the building. My friend, entrepreneur Kip Edwards. We've also got Shauna King and Nick Garner, and it's going to be a great episode. We got a lot of cool things that we're going to talk about today. First, I'd like everybody to introduce themselves and tell a little bit about who you guys are and what makes you you.
Absolutely. I'm first, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm Kip Edwards with Patriot Title. I'm a franchise owner of the Pearland branch and East Downtown branch. I'm also opening up a Dallas location. So I've been in the real estate industry about 20 plus years now. Actually, I started off with Will at KB Home. He was my construction superintendent, and I was selling new homes.
Steve Harvey said when they bring you in, you brought me in right there. Appreciate it. And we also have Shauna King. Shauna, go ahead and tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm Shauna King, and I wear a lot of hats for sure, but I think mainly I'm geared towards the real estate industry now. Been in sales and marketing for the past 2 decades, so I know my way around a marketing department for sure. But we had a couple of tax locations, expanded to insurance, and then naturally progressed to real estate. And it's just been on fire ever since. So I love collaborating with smart individual entrepreneur type peeps. And I definitely wish I would have met you when I was 16. Because I didn't know every single one of those businesses as well. So people always joke because they're like, "What's the next shit you're gonna sell?" I'm like, I'll let you know. You're in my database, so I'll let you know when it's there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I just chase the money. So that's about it.
Absolutely, no problem. Hey everyone, I'm Nick. As you know, Will is my brother, so we're better known as the Property Brothers.
There you go.
We've been in real estate. I know I've had my real estate license since I graduated college in 2006. Done a few different things in real estate, from real estate sales to managing some of our new construction builds out of Lake Conroe, some of our townhome projects, and also wear several different hats, insurance broker, also investor, GiveMeTheAddress.com. So if you do need to sell a property that you no longer want, visit the site GiveMeTheAddress.com, and I would love to help you out. We've also recently launched one of our main platforms, as you see on the hat here, called Flip. So we are highly excited about this new platform and want you to utilize it to the best of your ability. So let's go ahead and dive
right now.
And one more shameless plug before we get started, because we got to pay the bills over here. And that's what it's all about. Anybody who is thinking about getting their dreams started in real estate, if you're looking to become an agent, if you want to join a winning team, we've got a great thing going on with EXP Realty. We lock arms with Shauna, myself, and my brother, and we're doing some really, really cool things together. And we've got some realtor events that are coming up, so stay posted if you'd like to sit down and learn how you can get started in real estate to become an agent, or if you're interested in learning how to flip homes, we've got
Looking at that property as far as an ownership standpoint, because even though you might send over a contract and it has a seller on it, it might not be that actual seller.
Gotcha.
So we do a lot of research and a lot of examination. People think they come to the title company just to sign paperwork, but actually a lot of stuff we do before that actual paperwork, before you actually come and sign that paperwork.
Yeah.
So it takes us about, let's say, anywhere from 7 to 14 days to actually do that initial research. So we'll look at the legal description. We look at who is the actual owner of the property. We put a lot of records from the county. What's happened? We're going to pay for it. It's been plenty of times that we have to pay $15,000, $20,000 after we already closed, even though we did everything correctly. So some stuff happens.
Gotcha.
It's been many times we have to buy a whole house back.
Really?
It's been times that our examiner could miss something.
Okay, let's go back.
I want to keep it completely 100 with y'all. Even though we can do everything correctly, just sometimes things happen. Things really pop up.
So pretty much title insurance is just another way to protect your asset, kind of like home insurance.
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
Gotcha.
But it's for the long term. As long as you own the property, it's not like you have to pay me over and over and over and over again. You just pay me especially one time. If you keep the property for 50, 60 years, it's still on there.
So
Okay, so there's no expiration date.
There's no expiration
I like
date.
that.
on the title insurance.
On the title insurance.
Okay, that was my next question.
I got a question though. So shortages, the shortages is an additional kind of like a addendum, I guess you can add for all encompassing title issues, right? So explain to me why I always make my clients either seller's gonna pay for it or we're gonna pay for it. I always make them pay for it. So what is the benefit of getting that additional insurance?
Getting that additional insurance is, actually the title company should provide you, or at least educate you on why you should have every particular endorsement along with your policy. It's been plenty of times, when you say shortages, it's probably more like the taxes, right? Say we put everything on the taxes, it's prorated, everything looks good, and all of a sudden another bill comes next year saying like, hey, y'all still owe all the ISD $1,500, right? They can do anything. My branch is write the check. Like I will write the check because I'd rather pay the $400, right? Because it's all about the relationship that we have with you. Like, even though this one deal is coming, I need to make sure that everybody happy, right? Because that one deal, you might have another agent that you're working with. And for me, it's retaining that business, all about the customer service. Because every title company charges the same thing. Texas Department of Insurance regulates the price of a policy. So whether you go to me, Stewart Title, or whatever title company, trades or constructions, going on. Absolutely. Like say they get a new roof put on it, but they didn't pay the roof, right? It's cool because they didn't pay the roof, they didn't pay the painter, they didn't pay the plumber.
Right.
So like I say, it's a lot of facets that's going into this. So anything can happen.
Where are y'all pulling those searches from? Just public records? Or?
County records. So we work with the county on every deal. So we have a database, even though you think like, hey, where you find the home from? Actually, we go back from ever since the property was owned. So it could be 40, 50 documents that we pull it and put it into our database and into our file to look and see who's the actual owner. So we'll look from ever since the property existed all the way up to the current owner now.
So let me ask you, let's say that, owner owned a piece of property, sold it, that deal is said and done. Now it's a year later, it's still in the same property owner, original property owner's name.
Which can
What
happen.
you think is the reason?
I know exactly the reason. Because either they went through a title company, the title company didn't record it with the county. They didn't record the deed to let the county know like, hey, this property's been transferred.
So what's the recourse? Does the original owner still technically own that
They
property?
technically own it because it's not recorded. So I would go back to the title company who did that transaction
Somebody's writing a check.
and ask them why it wasn't recorded. Right, because everything probably still in the person's name, taxes, everything, right? But they can go back and record it. They can wait. Technically, after they sign that document, it needs to be recorded within 72 hours, within 3 days.
So the funny thing about, I'm glad you brought that point up. I had a client, actually it's a tax client a few years back. They owner financed the property. And it's actually, I've seen happen with a few tax clients. They say, hey, I own this property, owner finance it. And throughout, they came to terms with whoever the owner of the property was. And they paid these people like monthly on a regular for like 10 years. And when it came time to, when they wanted to do some improvements to the property, and they were in my office, we were talking about it, and then so I started looking up tax records. I was like, hey, they don't even show you guys on title for this property. And they was like, no, we own it. We gave them X amount of money down, and we've been paying, so much per month for like the last 10 years. And I'm like, oh, I don't think so. So I think I probably actually may have reached out to you before or something, and come to find out, no, they weren't the owner of the property. And then not only that, the person that they had been paying was a property manager. And he was managing the property for somebody else who really owned the property. And the person who owned the property didn't even know that they were there. It was a messed up situation. So, the reason I'm bringing this up is like, so if you're selling it,
So when somebody fixed it up, everything, rehabbed it, had a buyer for it. Once we did our examination and research, it was like, hey, you're not gonna own this property, even though you've been living here 15 years, paying the taxes, water in your name, bills in your name.
But
Wow.
15 years,
Wouldn't they qualify like for squatters?
But like adverse,
Yeah.
well,
Exactly.
no, not really. I mean, they have to file some stuff. Even for adverse action, you still need to file something with the county. You can be like, hey, I just came and filed this property. It's no record.
But she's been living there, and people have been seeing them come in and out, and that's
Absolutely, but even
neighborhood.
neighborhoods,
Yeah.
we actually tell our clients, man, you might want to hire a property investigator, go talk to the neighbors and see what's going on. And
I guess that
But she-
squatters home, it wasn't abandoned per se.
It wasn't bad, and she was still
Taking over
paying the
shit.
bills
Yeah.
like she was the previous owner. So as far as the county, they probably was like, hey,
She's
she's still
there.
paying the
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah.
She's probably still paying the deceased
Yeah,
person.
I'm sure,
You're blaming the
there's
deceased
still
person's
about
taxes.
leaving it there, yeah. But everything, I think,
It's pretty much
legally,
fraud, to be honest.
Pretty
with
much.
you.
right,
I
absolutely.
say stolen squatting.
There's a process for everything, so I always tell everybody, hey, if you don't know the process, you might want to consult with an attorney.
Yeah.
At least a real estate attorney, especially when you're doing something of that value and you know it's kind of sketchy already.
Mhm.
Definitely talk to a real estate professional. Even come to y'all, right? Y'all real estate professionals.
Certainly.
Y'all know what direction to give them. I say if you can talk to as many people as possible, y'all talk to y'all. You should talk to y'all title company representative all the time. Like, hey, kid, like we'll run stuff about me all the time. Hey, what you think about this? What's really going on? If I don't know the answer, I'll be like, man, I don't know. That don't sound right for me.
Yeah.
It's something we don't see normally. And trust me, I've been involved in over 20,000 transactions throughout my career. I know we
That's
can't
amazing.
closing like 100 homes per
Yeah.
month. So now I'm at the title company, we seeing every closing, everything. But new stuff pop up all the time. New situations pop up. New
There's never a real
issues.
estate transaction that's the
Everything is
same.
very unique and different.
Learn something new every day in real estate.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every day.
Most stuff.
But you see all kinds of stuff. I seen everything. I seen people inherit property, right?
Mm-hmm.
No names are transferred, and it's in a great grandma name. Now it's like 30 heirs with kids. A couple people passed away, so we definitely about to plant the tree.
The gay side.
Absolutely. We still doing some stuff to the other side. So I mean, we see it all. Like I've been at the closing tables, like 50 family members in my office. Everybody taking turns signing the same paperwork. People fighting over $15, $20. Like, hey, I need to get $25. Right, I want $25 more. I'm like, I'm selling property for $1,000.
And I know it's probably some people out there who are
That's what you
actually
just
like,
read.
I know there's people out there who want to know like the probate process. Like how does that work, especially if you're out of town, let's say you're closing here in Houston, family member lives in California or whatever like
Absolutely. So we do a lot of mobile closes.
Okay.
In my particular branches, we'll do complimentary mobile closing in the Houston area. Also, we can do out-of-state closings, what we call one of our preferred notaries. And they'll send somebody out. But now, luckily, in Texas, we just got approved for, I guess since COVID went on,
Like
we can do RUN, which is like remote online notaries, right?
Okay.
So they have to use a certain particular software like LexisNexis where they ask a few questions like, hey, what was your first car? Where did you live? Certain things. And they have to show their ID back and front.
Right.
So once they finish that verification process, we can actually do a remote closing, not having a notary. The notary is going to do it kind of like we're doing this podcast.
So,
But a lot of lenders
I'm about to say, they require
don't
that
approve
on
it. They
the
still want the wet
signature.
signatures. If it's a cash deal, investment deals, we can do it all day. But lenders still don't want some wet signatures on stuff. They want them to come to the title company as well. So it's some stipulations involved, but I think we are moving in the direction that we can do a lot of stuff
In
more
person, yeah.
virtually.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's gonna be a lot of new services out here coming up in 2021, which I'm looking forward to. So like
Heard you guys are going to start being responsible for option money too coming up. That's legislation that's coming down the path.
I don't know about that one. We're not gonna be supposed to talk about that.
It's
That's what we're talking about.
Because the option money is not for us though. They don't even have our
It goes to the seller.
seller.
If someone doesn't know what option money is, explain to them what option money is.
Money for time. It's basically you're giving the seller a certain amount of money. I mean, it's not set in stone, but it's $20, $25 a day, $30 if it's hiring property. And you basically locked into a contract with that seller and that buyer. It's unilateral, so the only person that can back out is the buyer. And there's a lot of lazy agents out there right now that have great relationships with title people, and they're just like, Yeah, take it all, but I mean, I would never encourage my agents to do that because it's not what the contract states. So, but there's legislation coming that says that we may start doing that.
And honestly, I mean, we have done it quite a bit in the past.
I would never
But
do
it's
that.
a lot of responsibility that we're taking, right? What's
Yeah.
happens to the check that we just hold it?
That's somebody's bank account information.
Absolutely. I'd rather than wire money. Like, I don't really want to touch any checks. I'd rather, hey,
We're
if you
doing
want
everything
to.
electronic.
Right. Because it's easy to wire stuff from your phone now.
Yep.
So I recommend that they wire option money, wire earnest money,
Everything.
wire.
Because
that
you
paper
know,
bill,
you
everything,
think you're
absolutely.
doing them a favor, but in
Yes,
reality, it's a liability.
It's not right.
Yeah,
Right.
so-
Or just mail direct to them. I mean, like you said, it's only with $25 a day. Normally, it's with 5 to 7 day option money.
Yes,
So
Mhm.
$200 to $300. I would overnight them a check, FedEx it.
Absolutely.
I would drive over there and put it in their hand.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That
I
option
mean,
money,
make it
option
make
money
money
is
on people.
important. That's like one of the most important clauses in the contract. Because it's a time-sensitive thing from the execution of that contract. A lot of agents don't realize that they may give earnest option money and waste a few days to get it over to the title company. Well, the clock is ticking.
Exactly.
So
Time is of the essence.
it's an important aspect of the contract. Big time.
Now, Kip, I know you kind of left off on the real estate, title company getting more virtual, digital. What are the things that you think real estate industry-wise could be led digitally?
Actually, I know, like, as far as the title company aspect, I've been talking to a lot of people lately. I think we are going to do a lot of stuff on our phones, so we're getting creating apps. I think communication is a key throughout this process, right? From everybody that's involved, which is like a lot of moving parts to a transaction. I think if everybody knows the status or updates on what's going on, then it make this transaction easier. I think a lot of deals fall out because of communication. Like, hey, we forgot to send this, or the title company didn't send us this. So I feel like if everybody's on the same page, it makes the transaction go a little bit smoother. So actually, I've been talking to a lot of people about updating everything on the phone. So now, like, say you order something from Domino's Pizza, you can see tracking your status, open order, they're making my pizza, they on their way, it's delivered. So that's the same thing that we are integrating in our system as well. Hey, the order is open, the appraisal is ordered, a surveyor came out, everybody got the option money is done now. Earnest money is in. Getting ready for closing. We're going to schedule the closing. This is the time you schedule. We schedule
From A to Z.
From A to Z.
Amazon.
We record the document. Even after it's closed, we still need to communicate like, hey, the document's recorded. It should be in your name now.
I like
You
that.
need to go get your taxes done. So going forward, like, man, for 2021, I just want to be on the cutting edge. Like I say, all title companies are pretty much the same as far as pricing. It's the experience
You have to set
and
yourself
the
apart.
communication. Absolutely. So that's what for
All
us.
realtors are not created equal, by the way.
At some point, like looking into the future, I would think that a lot of local government entities, appraisal districts would shift to using blockchain technology to where the title company can communicate with these different entities in real time and speed up the actual closing process, the title process itself from beginning to end. So when you talk about the future, and I think that's where it'll go, where everything really can be, digital online from beginning to end.
Oh, I totally agree because I mean, as far as title company, we don't get so-called paid a lot for each transaction. I mean, the cost is very minimal. So it's all about how many transactions we do. And I know from y'all being in the tax industry, the tax business as myself, we always do like we need to do 100 tax returns in 2 weeks, right? So it's the same thing as far as how we need to do 20 transactions this week.
Right.
House transactions will start moving like stock
Yeah.
transactions at some point.
So we actually work
Quickly.
with like our examiners to get the title company
And then
back.
we got oh man.
Yeah, so it's a volume business, and real estate is crazy in Houston.
Yeah.
So I mean, the faster we can get the research done, the examination done, close, we can move on to the
How much
next
of
year.
that is a human person's responsibility versus electronic automation behind the scenes?
Behind the
Like,
scenes,
yeah.
it's pretty much it's all human.
Okay.
I mean, we have to physically like do some research. We have some attorneys
Full
reviewing
records,
documents.
yeah.
It's not just like, okay, I wish we just put the documents ready to
The
go.
address and
We
like
actually
the-
read like a lot of these documents
Yeah.
as well because we need to like y'all send us a contract. We read it
deed
line for line.
restrictions and all
Who's
kinds of stuff
paying
like that.
like home warranties, deed restrictions? Who's paying what? Who's paying?
How many hours do you work a week right now?
Ooh, how many hours in a week?
140 something.
Yeah, that's all those.
Every hour.
Every hour, just nonstop.
Love that.
But it's part of it. So I mean, I like it. I mean, for me, real estate is my passion.
Agreed.
Some parts of it, so I'm glad I had to experience
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of
right?
everything. So I
Yeah.
know the whole aspect of it.
I was just doing some research here, and from what it's saying, obviously right now, I know y'all are all feeling it, but real estate sales here have been on an increase,
Mhm.
pretty much due to demand, coming out of COVID, things of that nature. But one of the things that I see is interesting is that it's picking up in different COVID hotspots, is what they've been saying. So, what do y'all think that's?
What do you mean as far as the?
Says home sales based on from Taylor Morrison are strongest in Texas, Arizona, and other coronavirus hotspots.
Got you.
So
Why don't we say on us? Why do we have to say coronavirus?
Just because we have a lot of people, right? Because they all
Yeah.
Because I mean, we have a lot of people here.
Exactly.
So I mean, we should be a hotspot, right? We got,
Right.
But Houston is huge,
I
right?
think it could be due to the fact that one, we have a lot more land in some places, so we can expand more. Taylor Morrison, that's a new home builder, so
Yeah.
they're looking at it from a new home sales
And just think our prices, right?
Like
Like
prices,
it's not like
so you're looking
we
at the
high like California or New York. I mean, our prices are right, and we just as big city as both, right? So I don't know. This is
So with that, if y'all are looking to move to Houston,
Move to Houston.
contact us at EXP Realty, and
It's funny that you
take
say
care.
that. I got my frat brothers like in Kansas and they moved all over after graduation, but I have people from Chicago calling me like, "Hey kid, I know that you're involved in real estate, a lot. I see that you post stuff about investment properties, flipping homes. Even though I'm in California or Chicago or Kansas, I still want to get involved in Houston because it seems like y'all know what y'all doing. The price is right, and it's a little bit easier as far as the real estate transaction happening. So I get people calling from all over, like, and I tell them, like, you're not even in Texas, you're not even in Houston. Why you want to invest in here? Like, man,
Stop
I feel
creeping
like
on
after
us.
that stuff, like, dang, our price is right. I can probably afford something.
Can't what
I can flip
that
it. So I get calls all the time from all over the U.S. asking what are we doing here in the Houston market. So I got some leads for y'all.
Got my number.
I had a professor.
See, like, these new structures, I think they need to start building more of them with like solar panels. I mean, we took that road trip to Denver. I mean, think
What's
about
your
the
report
wind
track?
farms.
The solar panels.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw them on my roof, but they look like freaking big ass band-aid on my roof or
It
something.
could be more attractive. I think it's the solar.
Or you can email me at kip@paralandtitle.com. And I usually respond anytime, so whether it's after hours, weekends, whatever.
The man said he don't sleep, so I mean, there's
Let's
transfer.
get it. Thank y'all so much.
Appreciate you for coming.
Thank you guys. Remember, you're one click away.
Bam!